Hello and welcome to Ginger Prime. My name is Brian, and if you're checking out this video trying to decide if you want to jump into the world of Final Fantasy XIV, I say with the most sincerity possible, yes, please do. But start with the free trial. You can play unlimited for free up to level 60, and that actually puts you all the way through the second expansion, Heavensward, for free with no monthly subscription or upfront cost. So I'm making this guide for new players who are just stepping into the world of Final Fantasy XIV. If you're looking for what class or job you should play, check out the video that's linked in the description for that. If you're coming from that guide, welcome and welcome to the world of Final Fantasy XIV. I'm glad you've decided to jump in. Here we're going to focus in on things that you can do to make your life easy, what you should be doing to help reduce kind of like going back and forth, just needless travel throughout the game. Overall, try to answer any kind of questions that you might have regarding the systems within the game to help increase your leveling and just overall content, what you'll be doing pretty much for the first 50 levels of this game itself. There's a lot of content here. There's a lot of things that you need to know. And if I don't get to something like a specific question you have, let me know in the comments below or check out our Discord server. We have an excellent community, always willing to help out new players. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and get you into the world of Final Fantasy XIV. Now, depending on what class you actually pick, that's going to determine what starting city that you start in. It does say in the description of your character creation, but for my case and for this example, I am on a Conjurer and I am out here in Gridania. You'll notice the first things first, these giant aetheryte crystals. These are going to act as your home point and telepoint ports. First thing you should do is come and actually attune to it, and once you do, you're going to have the option to set as a home point or visit other worlds or register as a favorite destination. If you use the key fob, you can actually register one free destination. The point of what you want to actually do and why you want to register favorite destinations, especially for areas that you're going to be visiting frequently, is it cuts down on the teleportation cost to them. So if you get to New Horizon, be sure to make sure that you register that one as a favorite destination, as well as Camp Drybone, as those are two destinations that you're going to be visiting quite frequently in this game, especially for the first 50 levels. Then from there, you want to keep your eye out for any symbol that has an exclamation mark like you see here over the Choco Keep. This is going to allow you to unlock various features, like in this case, a Chocobo Porter, which will basically take you from one destination to the next. You also want to keep an eye out on any aetheryte shard. This is going to give you the ability to teleport quickly around the city itself, as well as outside the gates as soon as you've unlocked every aetheryte in the city itself. And then in terms of your focus regarding content, you want to make sure you pay attention to any quest that has a plus sign in the quest header that you see here overhead. But most importantly, you want to pay attention to all quests with a meteor symbol around them. This is going to be your main MSQ, main scenario quest that's going to drive you forward. This is in fact the fastest way to level up. When you couple your MSQ with the ease of moving around via teleportation, aetheryte shards, your Chocobo, which will unlock around the level 20 quest line, you will actually outpace the leveling curve that the game was originally designed for. And so by the time you actually start getting into the level 20 quests and select a grand company to be a part of, it's a main story beat that happens pretty quickly on in the early part of the game. You're then going to have the ability to unlock your Chocobo. This is going to allow you to mount up and travel the world much faster. But beyond that one beat in the story and in the game itself, you then want to make a hard sprint to level 50 and the Praetorium. The reason is that once you hit level 50 and you clear the Praetorium, I'm going to the duty finder here for you. This is going to be what unlocks flying in the original ARR zones. Flying is going to help get you everywhere. This is your beast tribes. This is all the additional quests. And the reason I make this as a statement is we often, more than not, see players lose interest or struggle from 35 to 50. Now, with the EXP adjustment, this has definitely been eased a lot. You're going to end up powering your way through all the way to 50. But before you start switching your characters and your classes, which you can do once you hit level 10, and you'll unlock the ability to have gear sets, and you'll unlock the ability to change your job by just changing your weapon. This will have you go around to the different guilds to unlock all the different classes, and honestly, it's a lot of fun. It's one of the core mechanics this game has to it. However, it can end up being its own weakness because you can get distracted and say, oh man, I hit level 35 or 40. I wonder what it's like to play as a dragoon, or I wonder what it's like to play as a bard. And if you find yourself stuck in the same section over and over again, eventually that's going to get you burned out. What will end up making that so much easier is flight. And the fact that they've added it to this game is incredible. And so just keep in mind, when you can do that, go be sure to make sure you unlock flight, because then if you decide to go and you want to play another job, it's going to be so much easier to get around, to unlock quests, to do the different things that you have yet to do, like leave quests and more. Now, I just want to spend a little time with a couple of quick tips. When you see enemies that have a little blue or a green icon next to their name, that means they're not going to aggro you unless you attack them. You can, at the same time, go ahead and attack them with auto attack by just kind of selecting A, and you'll see the spinning icon over their heads. That means that you're going to just use your auto attack. From here, obviously, you want to use your skills and abilities to help kill them much quicker than just a standard auto attack itself. You'll notice with these enemies that I'm attacking right now, they have a nice little green symbol over their head. This is used as a leveling mechanic when you see these items. These are part of what's called your hunt log. In this case, it wants me to go ahead and kill 3 of these to unlock additional experience and more. If you ever want to see where your hunt log is, you can go into your logs page, hunting log itself, and as you unlock different ranks, you'll complete overall for the total rank, and this is going to go up to rank 5 as well. Pay attention to this. It's done by each job. So just kind of play around with that. When I say job, I actually mean class, so that's interchangeable for me. Now, one of the things you want to do while you level up, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and apply some tree toad legs here. This is food, and food is going to help out with your leveling experience, as it's going to add a 3% EXP buff when you're fighting and attacking enemies for each kill. So you'll see that by default, I've put on 30 minutes worth of food, and you can actually apply food to yourself twice. So as long as you've got food in your inventory, you should be good to go. And there we go, completed the hunting log, got an additional experience, and actually completed the entry for it as well. So that's just feeding me with additional experience as I level and play through the main MSQ, which is the true gate to this game itself. So I can go and actually apply 2 buffs, and that's going to give me 1 hour of food. There's plenty of cheap food. If you just go talk to any of the vendors, you can just go find some basic food. It does add additional stats, in this case, direct hit, vitality, spell speed, all of which just overall improve your performance, your character, your life. However, it's not as important, especially as you level. I wouldn't invest in a lot of expensive food until you get more to the end game. In this case, especially if you're a free trial player, that's going to happen around level 60. If you're a main game player right now, that's going to happen at level 80. But any kind of food will do, because again, you're just primarily using it for the experience boost. Now, you can also see some enemies listed right here with the red over their names. This is going to be an enemy that's going to aggro you either based off of sight or sound. Some enemies, I think, like, it all depends. Like, I know in the world of Final Fantasy, and I get confused, some have different kind of ways that they detect you. There are just that mindset to know where they're actually pointing if you want to have an idea. Let me go ahead and attack this guy for us. You can see the arrow under their feet. This is going to tell you the direction they're attacking. If for some reason, if you're playing as a melee DPS, your position on the enemy is going to be really important. So keep in mind, you want to know where they're actually facing, so that way you actually attack the correct enemy in the right spot, whether you're on their flank or their rear. So just pay attention to where that's pointing, so that's going to tell you exactly where they're looking. As you progress through the main MSQ, you're going to occasionally run into instance single player battles. So if you're looking at playing this game with your friend, if you and your friends have started, note that you can play the whole game together. You can do fates, you can level, you can quest together. If they start in a different city, pretty much the cities and the stories do come together around level 15. So note that you won't be physically in the same spot depending on the jobs that you select to start as, but occasionally you're going to run into one of these. This is an instance single player fight. It's going to tell you what's going to happen, and it will sync you to the appropriate level. So if I had out leveled level 13, it's going to tell me my level will be level 13 when I go into this instance. This is going to be a standard boss battle. There's sometimes cutscenes attached to it, but note that this is something that you're going to have to participate in on a single player level. Once you clear it, you're going to end up having a lot of options of what to do and what to play. So as I battle the stone golem, in this case, you're going to see that he can put various different effects out on the ground. Those are essentially little markers to tell you, hey, you need to move out of the way. So just be sure to pay attention to anything and everything they put on the ground. You can see over kind of the target that I've got at the top that he's got a little charge up time. If that was flashing, it would be actually something that could be interrupted. So just pay attention as you learn more skills like stun that will allow you to basically say, no clay golem, you're not going to cast that on me today. So all in all, these fights should be pretty basic and should start training you to be ready to move out of bad when bad starts to happen. The good news is if you happen to aggro a lot of different enemies, all you do have to do is run away for a certain period of time, and you'll find that you'll end up getting into a safe spot, and they're just going to lose interest and give up chasing you after a little bit. So if you can always run away for some safety and security. As you progress through the world, just like we were talking about earlier, every and any time you can unlock a new aetheryte, this is going to help you just easily get around the world. I would say as soon as, like, even as you just unlock them, register as a favorite destination to each and every one that you can. Again, you'll only get 3 to start, but those 3 are still important, and you can always change them at any time. As soon as you get into the after level 15, that's where you're going to start to see kind of some repeated progress regarding Prey Return to the Wakened Sands. It's a meme in and of itself, but it's something that's worthwhile. With that, you'll open up the ability to teleport, and you can see any favorite destination with a star. You can also pin and open maps and save to history, so that way as you kind of use the different navigations and unlock the different aetherytes, you can see your favorites, you can see your history, you can see so much more. So in this case, I can go and either teleport back, or as you have a return spell, which has a massive kind of cooldown of 900 seconds. Return is a nice free ability, so it will return you to whatever your home point is set at. As you progress through the game, make sure you set your home point. Move your home point from place to place, because that's going to be where you want to return to the quickest. Right now, obviously, as I'm starting the game out, my return home point being the main city is a good place to start. But then as you venture out further and further, you're obviously going to want to return back to the closest person who gave you the quest, thus saving yourself countless amounts of hours, especially before you have your chocobo or the ability to fly to get around the world. The importance of following the main storyline cannot be stated enough. By doing so, you just saw me unlock in-rooms and leave so many other features to the game that are going to overall help my enjoyment of the game itself. There's no fast pass all the way to end game just by grinding on mobs. It's all gated through the MSQ. So be sure to keep grabbing these and going forward from there, because it's going to feed you gear, it's going to feed you experience. As you can see here, I am now level 12, and again, it's going to unlock even more features that you're going to want to grab and go. Leaves are a great example because they unlock other things for yourself later on in the game. Namely, you'll end up using them more for crafting and gathering. They were originally kind of heavily done with battle content in mind, but then after a certain expansion, they don't have it for battle anymore. It just 100% falls into the gathering and crafting mindset. So lastly, I want to talk briefly kind of about your character, your gear sets, and your recommended gear. As you level, as you play the game, check out your recommended gear. This is going to tell you if you've got gear that's better suited for your current level. Once you hit level 10, you get your class quest every 5 levels in the game. So you get one at level 5, you'll get one at level 10, and be sure to go back and visit. In fact, if you get lost and you're trying to wonder where you need to go, you can always check your current main scenario. This is going to tell you where you need to go. In this case, it's Bent Branch Meadows. Again, me unlocking that as a teleport location, massive plus in my book. But you can also find, if you had a class quest, it would show and appear under the main scenario quest as well. If you're ever curious about your quest log over here, I can kind of click on any of the blue, and it's going to tell me where I need to go in order to turn these in. I can just click on the blue. If I want to pull up the journal, I can click on this and get even more detail as well. If you're on a controller like me and you're seeing me use the mouse, you can actually just press your back or select button to navigate the UI and click on any of the things that you want, and even go from there. If you're on a controller, you can press right bumper to be able to have it tell you if you want to teleport on any of the aetherytes that you have unlocked and the map itself. So there's a lot of easy ways. We'll probably put together kind of a primer controller guide here on the channel. So if you're new and you want to hit that subscribe button, you feel like we earn it, come back for more videos and content, starter guides and more. But last but not least, again, talking about your gear set, you can make any number of gear sets that you want. As you start, you're going to only unlock a certain cap. So right now I'm capped at 8 gear sets, but as I unlock new jobs, I can make different gear sets based off of what I have saved. I can then easily change up what gear set that I have equipped. And then if I change a piece of gear, I can hit the X button or the refresh button to say, oh, I'm going to update that gear set so that it's including this. So if I was to go in here and say, recommended gear, and then I can hit X and now it is refreshed. And thus, whenever I change jobs, instead of like hard equipping every little thing, I can go from there. Everything that you get is dropped into your armory chest. And you can see here, you've got different slots, all based off of your weapon, helmet, body, hands, belt, legs, feet. Like your alternate tool, a shield if you are going to carry a shield, earrings, like necklace, bracelet, rings, and then your job soul crystals as you unlock those as well. So that's your armory chest itself. You can move items in and out of your inventory, and then your inventory is easily managed this way. In this case, you got 140 slots in your inventory. You get 35 slots per section of the armory chest. So you can end up having a lot of gear. It could be something easily managed, but it can also get out of control. And sometimes you might just find yourself doing a little bit of management on that. I hope some of this has been a help. Hopefully this does only encourages you to jump into the world and help answer some of your questions about the game itself. Again, if you've got them in the comments below, I'm going to do my best to either answer them in the comments themselves, or I can try to gather them up, especially if we see a common question commonly asked, try to put together some guides for you guys, so that way you can just jump into this world and you can have as much fun as we have been having for the last 10 years. I can't believe it's a 10-year-old game, and the story in and of itself is just incredible. I would encourage you not to skip it. Play this game like an RPG first and an MMO second, and then eventually you're going to see that the end game is more heavily leaning into the MMO mindset, where the overall story, the narrative experience is like an RPG. So it's going to take you through, it's going to introduce you to some really great characters, and that setup in both ARR has a massive payoff in Heavensward, but even more so if you do decide to stick with the game into Stormblood and Shadowbringers. Anyway, for Ginger Prime, my name's Brian. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully it's been a help to some degree, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. But until then, take care. This video is sponsored by me, Ginger Prime. Hopefully you'll check out my podcast channel, Ginger Gaming Radio, which we have lots of guests, lots of great conversations, and even more highlights. Links are in the description below. Let me know what you think. Thanks.